I don't know why, but I just feel like making a video. So, yes, it's been a very long time since I met you. I don't want to show my age singing that song. Yeah, life is pretty cool right now. Everything's clicking on all cylinders, I guess you could say. Saturday. Seems like everybody's in a really good mood these days. Maybe, depending on your frame of mind. I don't know, I kind of feel like the world's kind of slowing down. It's a good thing for many people. A dog definitely agrees with that one. And I have this friend called Mandolin, and she wrote this really, really cool thing. She put it online. It was about how the world could change, but we have to make the right choice right now. And we're pretty much at a crossroads. And because of this virus, we're being shown a different way of life, a slower way of life. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people are spending a lot of time inside. And they're drinking more. They're watching more Netflix and Rectangle. So what do we do about the rectangles? Because I think the rectangles, TVs, cell phones, are really the major cause of people not being still, people not being present. Which leads me into my clutter theory. Yes! I've been waiting to do a clutter theory video, and here it is. So I have this other friend, and this friend is very depressed, can never be happy. And he doesn't choose to work on his happiness. Whenever he has free time and he's not working, he's watching hours and hours and hours of episodes on Netflix. Hours of things on Netflix. Hours. Or Hulu, because, he has Hulu too. So, if he's not working, he's watching things on Netflix, Hulu, or he's playing his PlayStation 4. So, he's always having images thrown into his mind. And Eckhart Tolle talked about this once, how people that watch movies a lot, or shows a lot, it's harder for them to enter the present moment. And it's hard for them to have their mind be calm and still and think like nature and be like nature. Because they always have these images on these rectangles, TVs or cell phones or laptops, being flashed in front of their eyes. Car explosions. One scene cutting to another scene that the director chooses to show you. Loud noises, lighting, romance. But it comes in flashes. These scenes, these images, they come in flashes. That's not of reality. It's not it's not like you see. Like, for instance, I'm in a room. I'm looking at a lawn outside. That's natural. Nothing's moving. There's no car explosions. There's nothing happening. Even if you watch a commercial, 30-second commercial, the images in the commercials change rapidly. So your brain gets used to having all these things thrown at it all the time. So your mind gets used to that. It gets used to being so entertained by these images, by these flashing images that are constantly moving. So when you shut the TV off, when you shut the laptop off, when you shut the cell phone off, whether it's YouTube, Netflix, television, whatever it is, your mind thinks to itself, well, what happened? Where did the images go? I need to be entertained. I need to be entertained. So the mind wants to fill itself with something. Because the present moment isn't enough. The stillness is boring. The calmness of the mind, the present moment, is boring. So they need to fill it with something. So they start thinking. They have these ruminating thoughts. They think constantly, which will most likely lead to depression, especially if you can't be present. Because we all know in certain circles that one of the only ways to be grateful and really appreciate the world around you is to be in the present moment. That's where true gratitude for life comes. And once you become grateful, that's when you start to realize how joyful this world really is, and you start to appreciate everything in your life, which leads to you feeling more fulfilled and you feeling more alive, because you're connected to the world, you're connected to nature, you're connected to everything. But if your mind is constantly thinking because it needs to be entertained, or you need to be doing things constantly because you need to be entertained, you're never really going to appreciate life. You're never really going to be able to go into the present moment. You're never really going to be able to be as grateful as you could be, because you're watching rectangles. And that is the clutter theory. Booyah! I could probably speak more on it, but I think you got the gist. So one way to be more present, be more fulfilled, and enjoy life more is to stop watching the rectangles. And once you stop watching the rectangles, you'll start to feel more connected to nature. And you'll start to realize that, like, oh my God, I don't really need that much. And once you stop worrying so much and thinking so much, you start to slow down. Like, God, I don't have to be doing all these things. But you got to start eating proper food. Don't eat processed food or anything like that, so your gut biome could work with your mind. So nutrition. Don't eat processed food, right? Just leads me back to kind of what Mandolin was saying as well, and slowing down the world. Stop eating processed food, so your gut biome could think like nature and mind. Stop watching rectangles, so your mind could stop thinking and not want to be so entertained, and you could be connected to nature, and be appreciating everything around you. And that is how the world is going to change. And that is how we are going to go back to the 1200s or the 500 BC, where Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu wrote the Tao. And that's what we have to do. We need to get rid of the rectangles. And that's my take on how we're really going to change. But as long as these rectangles control us, or we're looking at them all the time, and I don't want to sound like conspiracy theorists saying that like rectangles are controlling us, but I really feel like the only way to change and think properly and think like nature and be like nature is to stop looking at the rectangles. After World War II, they asked Carl Jung, how are we going to fix war in this world? And how are people going to think clearly? And Carl Jung said, the one way for people to think clearly is to think like nature and to be like nature. And the only way to step out of the mind, the worried and the overthinking mind, and to think like nature and to be like nature, is to stop watching the rectangles so you could allow your mind to be like nature and think like nature. Once it slows down, when you stop watching the rectangles. But you have to stop watching, or you have to stop eating processed food so your gut biome could work with your mind to also be like nature. And get 8 hours of sleep. And work out, do yoga. And spend time with loving friends. People that are positive and caring. Get away from toxic people and toxic relationships with negative and hurtful people. And realize that life isn't to be happy, life is to find meaning. Which I talk about in Fighting Off Depression, or Figuring Out Depression too. It's all connected. Thank you guys for everything. Later. And this shot goes out to Manlin because you created this video. Rock on. And everybody out there. Peace. And drink some coffee or tea because coffee and tea rules. Later. Sorry, I just can't end this one. What up? Winnie the Pooh rocks. Oh, Christmas lights do too. Oh.